The big game is fast approaching, but wait, you still haven't got your tickets. You've spent hours searching, but you're still confused about ticket prices. Time to stop searching. Visit ticketcompare.com. We compare ticket prices for all the popular leagues and tournaments for you. We work only with the most trustworthy sites, so you can have peace of mind when buying your tickets. Compare prices, buy tickets, get to the game. Ticketcompare.com. Buying tickets made simple.
Yes.
We're going to open with a couple of questions from French media and then go into Irish media, please. Any French media questions?
On va commencer par les questions par des médias français. Est-ce que vous avez des questions?
Oui, bonjour. Adrien de Canon de l'AFP, c'était juste pour savoir si vous alliez jouer ce match qui est une préparation pour les Bleus de manière plutôt tranquille ou si vous aviez vraiment des objectifs de les secouer.
Just a quick question to know if you're going to play this game that's just a preparation game for France. Are you going to take it easy or are you going to go for it and try and win the game?
Yeah, well, we are unable to take things easy. It will be a big test for us. Obviously, France going to the World Cup, big preparation game for them. I know they've got a couple of other matches before they head to Russia, but for us, it's great preparation for the Euro League coming up in September, October, and November. So, big game for us and a big game for a number of the inexperienced players that we have in the squad.
On n'arrive pas à jouer les matchs tranquillement, on ne sait pas faire. C'est un grand test pour nous et donc une très bonne préparation aussi pour la Ligue des Nations qui va commencer au mois de septembre. C'est un très bon test aussi pour les joueurs inexpérimentés qui font partie de notre équipe.
Bonjour, une question pour le sélectionneur, juste derrière. Le sélectionneur danois a expliqué que l'équipe de France, pour lui, n'avait rien de spécial, pas de force particulière, pas de force collective en tout cas. Qu'est-ce que vous pensez de cette déclaration et qu'est-ce que vous pensez de l'équipe de France?
The coach for Denmark said about the French team that it has nothing special. What do you think of the French team, and can you tell us a few words about the French team?
Did they say that? Well, I think that I know the Danish coach. I used to play with him, and very nice man. Wasn't such a great player himself, so highly dangerous to talk about that. I think the French. I think they are individually well equipped. French have been strong now for some time. I think that he may be referring maybe to perhaps they always feel as if there's a feeling, I think, sometimes that the French are not always united, and all you need is an example of Rabiot leaving the squad. But personally, I think they're very strong. I think that France, when they get together, will be strong in this competition. They'll be disappointed losing the final of the European Championship, but overall they've as good a chance as anybody of winning the World Cup.
Je connais le sélectionneur danois. C'est un homme sympa et c'était pas un très très grand joueur lui-même, mais je pense que c'est très dangereux d'aborder ce type de sujet, de parler de ce genre de choses. Individuellement, je pense que les joueurs français sont très bons. Peut-être qu'il se référait à cette espèce de sentiment qu'on peut avoir parfois que l'équipe de France ne joue pas toujours, n'est pas toujours unie, comme on a pu le voir avec le cas Rabiot récemment. Mais je pense qu'ils sont très forts quand ils jouent ensemble et je pense qu'ils ont une très bonne chance d'aller au bout de la Coupe du Monde comme d'autres équipes.
Justement, vous abordez le cas de l'Euro 2016, vous avez rencontré la France pendant la compétition. Comment vous estimez qu'elle a évolué depuis cet Euro? Il y a eu 2 ans qui ont passé, il y a eu beaucoup de choses qui ont évolué.
If you compare the French team from the Euro to 2016 with the French team from today, how do you see that the team has evolved? What's the difference between now and 2 years ago?
Well, this is from a distance. I think that obviously some of the players are more experienced now, that extra 2 years maturity. I think that they've got a point to prove as well. You know, that Portugal final would have been a big disappointment to them, because particularly when Ronaldo goes off the field of play, I think that probably France were expecting to go on to win the game. It didn't happen. So I think that they should have that big determination to rectify that, have a big tournament. But I think the main is that the extra experience that they've had over the last couple of years, qualification was fine. And I think that I disagree with the Danish manager. I think individually, I think the French have got very, very strong players indeed.
Je pense que certains joueurs ont récupéré pas mal d'expérience depuis. Je pense aussi qu'ils ont quelque chose à prouver depuis cette finale perdue de l'Euro 2016. C'était une grosse déception pour eux. J'imagine que quand Ronaldo est sorti du terrain, tout le monde, plus ou moins, estimait que la France allait gagner le match et ce n'est pas arrivé. Donc je pense qu'ils veulent rectifier cette situation et prouver quelque chose. Et une fois de plus, ils ont, je pense, gagné beaucoup d'expérience avec un tour de qualification qui a été très bon pour eux. Et donc une nouvelle fois, je ne suis pas d'accord avec l'entraîneur danois. Je pense qu'individuellement, ils sont vraiment très très forts.
Martin, how you doing? Would you just have an injury update? Callum O'Dowda sat out the other day. Any fresh injuries? Any additional call-ups? And is left back perhaps a sort of maybe one of your biggest selection calls you have to make tomorrow?
Yeah, Callum is fine. He just sat it out. He just felt his groin a little bit. He's fine. Unfortunately, we've lost Jeff Hendry. Jeff has had to come out of training, and he has not travelled with us. He's hoping to be fit for the USA game, but that's naturally a blow to us in terms of someone who's done well at the Euros and had good experience. And in answer to your third point, yeah, at the moment there's we've got a couple of Stephen Ward has been, as you know, been a regular left back for us for the 4 years that I've been involved, and I think now it's up to someone to go and try and grab that position and at least make it difficult for Stephen to get back in again. And it's an opportunity for someone who's going to be selected there.
Est-ce que vous pourriez faire un point au niveau des blessures et est-ce que le poste d'arrière gauche va être la plus grosse question pour vous pour le match de demain? Callum est bien et il se remet un peu. Jeff Hendry, on l'a perdu, par contre il n'a pas voyagé avec nous. On espère qu'il sera prêt pour le match contre les États-Unis. C'est évidemment une grosse perte pour nous. Et en ce qui concerne donc le poste d'arrière gauche, oui, effectivement, c'est une position qu'il va falloir remplir, mais c'est une opportunité pour plusieurs joueurs dans l'équipe.
Martin, hello. You watched the Champions League final last night, no doubt. You were enthralled by the majesty of Bale's goal. Where would you rate that in terms of important goals in important matches? And how are we going to curb him when we play him in September?
Well, that's a long way off that at the moment, but I think that he comes on as a substitute in 60 minutes, and by the 64th minute he's already spent a minute celebrating. It's just a wonderful goal, absolutely fantastic goal, and almost fitting that it should be in the Champions League final. You'll not get many better than that over the years that have been played. And Bale's, as we've been saying here for a long, long time. He's a world-class footballer. And you don't want to be throwing world-class around too often, but he's a world-class footballer. I think he may well have been disappointed not starting in the game, but even so, his contribution in the last half hour is just really sensational. As far as we're concerned, we actually played against him in Dublin, the time that unfortunate injury to Seamus, that particular game, and while we shackled him reasonably well in the game, he had one fantastic run where he nearly scored, and that's the problem with world-class players. You cannot keep them shackled throughout the entire game. So it will be a problem, but we hope during the time that we get round to meeting them that we'll be ready for it.
Vous avez sans doute regardé le match de la finale de Ligue des Champions hier. Vous avez sans doute regardé la finale de Ligue des Champions hier soir. Qu'est-ce que vous avez pensé du but de Bale quand vous allez devoir les rencontrer bientôt, qu'est-ce que vous pensez de comment vous pouvez faire pour contrer ce type de joueur? Il est entré à la 60e minute et à la 64e minute, il a passé 1 minute à célébrer son but, un but absolument fantastique, un but qui mérite sa place dans une finale de Ligue des Champions. Bale est un joueur de classe mondiale. Il a sans doute été déçu de ne pas démarrer la rencontre, mais il a fait une rentrée absolument sensationnelle. Et donc oui, quand on rencontrera le Pays de Galles, il faudra qu'on essaie de gérer ce qu'a Bale, mais bon, c'est un joueur de classe mondiale évidemment, donc ce sera difficile de le museler pendant 90 minutes, mais on essaiera.
Seamus, 2 years ago you were playing against France at the Euros. Does that make it all the more painful that you're not going to the World Cup with them, and does that fuel you into the new campaign?
Yeah, obviously the disappointment has grown a little bit more again recently with all the excitement of the World Cup, and we're disappointed not to be there. But since that night against Denmark, once we let that settle down, we needed to get prepared now for the next campaign, and that's what we're starting to do. But I think it's a good thing that we're disappointed not making these tournaments now. I feel like, especially under the manager, we became very, very competitive. We had a great time at the Euros. We're unlucky not to qualify, and to be disappointed shows that we want to be at these tournaments, and that's the level we're at now. We will be disappointed unless we qualify.
Il y a 2 ans, vous jouiez contre la France. Comment vous sentez-vous aujourd'hui de rejouer contre cette équipe qui se prépare pour la Coupe du Monde à laquelle vous n'allez pas participer vous-même? Évidemment, on est très déçus de ne pas participer à la prochaine Coupe du Monde. Mais la déception passée du dernier match contre le Danemark, où nous avons raté notre qualification, et on a immédiatement commencé à nous préparer pour la campagne prochaine. C'est ce qu'on fait maintenant. On est une équipe très compétitive. On a vraiment envie de participer à la prochaine campagne. Donc nous sommes concentrés sur ce futur objectif.
Hi, Seamus. With this squad, with the 7 uncapped players and so many changes for the Turkey game recently, does this feel like a new beginning going into the next campaign?
Definitely feels like there's been a bit of a change, with the new players coming in. We still have some from the last campaign, and I think it's so important for us to show them new lads coming in what's expected, on the training pitch when we put on the jersey to play for our country, and even what's expected around the hotel. And they've been great, and it's up to them to step up and show they deserve to be at this level, and I'm sure they will. But there's definitely a bit of a change, but the objective stays the same, and we want to win every game possible and qualify.
Est-ce que ça ressemble à un nouveau début pour vous avec le nombre de joueurs, 7 joueurs qui n'ont jamais été sélectionnés en équipe? Est-ce que c'est le début d'une nouvelle phase? Oui, c'est sûr qu'il y a eu pas mal de changements. Il y a de nouveaux joueurs qui nous ont rejoints et on en a gardé certains de la campagne précédente. C'est important pour nous de montrer à ces nouveaux joueurs ce qui est attendu d'eux, ce que ça signifie de mettre ce maillot de l'Irlande. Mais bon, à côté de ça, l'objectif est toujours le même. On veut gagner les matchs et se qualifier pour la prochaine campagne.
Martin, can I ask you, what's the bigger risk? Is it putting in players like John Walters and Harry Arter who are short of match fitness, or more inexperienced players who, because of the calibre of the opposition tomorrow?
Well, I think that when you talk about, Harry has not played first team football for quite some considerable time. Then he picked up, he was substitute, I think, about 5 weeks ago. And then since that, he actually picked up a little bit of an Achilles problem. So I would say that we're probably, I'm not saying that he won't get some time tomorrow night, but I would say it'd be more likely to try and get a fitness program for him to be for the USA game. John, of course, you know John's history. John's was probably our talisman for the Euros. Since that, of course, he's getting a bit older. I still think he's important. He wanted to stay on in the campaign, and I was pleased that he did, because I think that we can. I think the younger players can pick up something from him, from his attitude. And but again, as you get a bit older and don't play as often, and the injuries are curtailing your training program, then it does become a wee bit more difficult. As you say, you contrast that there with some younger kids coming in. This would be, as big a game as some of them might have played. France, very strong at home, obviously, and preparing for a World Cup with what you'd have to say world-class players playing in the opposition. So it's a test, a massive test for us this tomorrow evening, and one that I'm hoping to learn a wee bit more about after the game is over.
Est-ce que vous diriez que c'est un plus grand risque de jouer avec des joueurs qui sont pour certains inexpérimentés, pour d'autres un peu plus âgés, qui jouent peut-être moins dans leur club? C'est vrai qu'Harry a joué un peu moins ces derniers temps. Il y a 5 semaines, il était remplaçant, mais il a développé un petit problème au niveau du talon d'Achille. Donc je pense que pour lui, en ce qui concerne Harry, on va essayer de le remettre en forme pour qu'il soit prêt pour le match contre les USA. Peut-être qu'il jouera demain, mais je pense que la priorité, c'est de le remettre vraiment en forme. Quant à John, c'était un peu notre porte-bonheur pendant cette campagne de l'Euro. Il a souhaité rester avec nous. Je pense que c'est bon pour les jeunes joueurs. Il peut leur apprendre beaucoup de choses. Et effectivement, quand on devient un peu plus âgé et qu'on ne joue plus autant, ça devient un peu plus difficile pour lui. Mais là, c'est un grand test pour nous demain, ce match contre la France, contre des joueurs de classe mondiale. Je pense que ça va me permettre aussi, de mon côté, d'apprendre beaucoup de choses sur mon équipe.
Can I ask you 2 questions, Martin? The first one is what came out of the Turkey game that perhaps shapes your team tomorrow? What players impressed, or perhaps earned the right to have another look at them in this game? And the other question is, you touched on it there, the fact that France are preparing for a World Cup. How difficult is it? Does it undermine the value of a game like this to you, the fact that your players are winding down after a long season and kind of perhaps edging towards the break in the summer, whereas their players are very much playing for places at a major tournament?
Well, first point, what do you learn from the Turkey game? I think if you replay the Turkey match, I think there's lots of things that you can pick up on. But you're talking about we went in with a number of young recruits in the side. One's making their debut as well too, with two lads playing up front. And both of them, unfortunately, for this game will be missing. So we're trying to, as Seamus mentioned, we're trying to evolve really as a team. We've had a major problem over quite a number of years about a natural goal scorer. We probably only have had one in maybe the last 30 years in Robbie Keane. So goals are at a premium. So we try and, if we can, rectify that, if it's at all possible. Very difficult to do so if you haven't got a natural goal scorer in your team. However, but we have a number of players that I know the strengths of. The captain here to my left, I include him in that group. So, and there are a number of players that I know very, very little about, and hopefully I can learn a wee bit more in these games. And what was your second point again?
Just about Just about the contrasting circumstances for the two teams, your team kind of moving.
Oh yeah, well, France, to their credit, they've qualified, so they deserve to go. They are considered a top nation in the world of football, and have been now since I would have said Platini way back in 1982 World Cup, in which Northern Ireland played them. And they were outside Brazil. I thought that they were as good as anybody in the competition. An infamous game against Germany, and they carried on in 1984. Then they've won the World Cup in 1988 or 1998, and so they've been a major force. They might not have won all the tournaments that they've entered, but they are a major force. So we're taking that into consideration. You're talking about some players winding down. I wouldn't consider, if I was playing in this game for the Republic of Ireland, I wouldn't be considering winding down for the match. I would consider this a great honour to be playing in this game, particularly if I've had one cap or no caps or 3 caps, and therefore that there is very, very important. It would be really important for my progress as an international player, to see where I stand in the in football, and I think you could not get a stronger motivation.
Qu'est-ce que vous avez tiré du match contre la Turquie et qu'est-ce que vous pensez des deux contextes différents qui entourent les deux équipes qui vont s'affronter demain, à savoir la France qui prépare donc une Coupe du Monde et l'Irlande qui n'a pas d'échéance à venir et qui peut-être peut prendre ce match un peu à la légère. Ce que j'ai appris du match contre la Turquie, j'ai appris beaucoup de choses. On avait pas mal de jeunes joueurs qui étaient là, 2 notamment à l'avant qui ne seront pas là malheureusement demain pour le match contre la France. Mais comme je disais, on est dans une phase d'évolution, on essaye d'évoluer. On a des joueurs qui ont vraiment des points forts, comme le capitaine à ma gauche, et d'autres joueurs. Par contre, il y a de nouveaux joueurs effectivement dans notre équipe, et je pense que le match de demain, ça me permettra d'apprendre de nombreuses choses sur ces joueurs. Pour revenir à votre deuxième question, la France s'est qualifiée, donc elle mérite d'aller à la Coupe du Monde. Ça fait très longtemps maintenant que la France est une très grande nation du football, notamment en 82, à la Coupe du Monde. Je la considérais avec le Brésil comme une des meilleures nations. En 98, elle a gagné. Ça fait donc très longtemps que la France est une grosse force du monde du football. Donc, pour revenir à votre question, est-ce que les joueurs de la République d'Irlande vont être moins motivés à affronter une nation comme celle-ci? Je ne pense pas. Si j'étais à leur place, je considérerais que c'est un grand honneur, que ce soit ma première, ma deuxième, ma troisième sélection. Je pense que c'est très important de pouvoir se jauger à l'aune d'adversaires comme celui de demain.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be as long as that.
That's all right.
Okay.
A question for Seamus. Seamus, you're one of a number of players who've started and played some of your career in the League of Ireland, and you've been involved in squads before with League of Ireland players from Dundalk, but now there's a Graham Burke from Shamrock Rovers and Shane Supple from Bohemians. How important is it for players to see that they can progress from the League of Ireland and go on and play at an international level?
Yeah, it's great, and I think there's more and more cases of it happening now as well. I think if you're performing to the best of your ability in the league, and you know the manager and Roy are going to watch, then if you catch their eye, then you know that there's a chance that you'll get called up and give a chance to prove yourself. You know, we were at the game Friday night. I wouldn't say it was the best game of football that we've been at recently. I was hoping for a bit more, but you know, the league on a whole has been improving at a very good rate. Dundalk and Cork are showing that, so the manager has shown that if you're good enough and if you're playing well, then he will give you a chance.
Il y a plusieurs joueurs qui viennent de la Ligue d'Irlande. À quel point c'est important que de jeunes joueurs de la Ligue puissent aussi venir dans l'équipe nationale. Effectivement, c'est très très bien. Avant, on avait beaucoup de joueurs qui venaient quasiment exclusivement de la Première Ligue. Maintenant, ça arrive de plus en plus que des joueurs du championnat irlandais rejoignent l'équipe nationale. C'est très bien parce que ça montre que si vous faites des efforts, si vous travaillez dur, le coach vous donnera votre chance.